Hello, English 1A scholars. So today I'm going to analyze poetry so that I can show my mastery, use evidence to support my claims, use correct in-text citations, and explain my reasoning clearly. I will know I got it when I get an 80% or higher on the 4.13 Part 2. So that's what we're focusing on, 4.13 Part 2. Big reminder though, if you do not have the Way to Rainy Mountain book, please call K-12 Customer Care, 866-512-2273. We will be using this immediately. Alright, so the 4.13 Part 2 assignment, remember QT Pie, so we're going to look at the question first. What are some examples of the use of poetic devices in I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth? How do these authors' choices give meaning? Use at least 2 quotes from the poem with explanation of what the poetic devices used in the quote, how it gives meaning. So twice it gives poetic device as an important piece. It also says meaning is an important piece. So we know that those 2 pieces are the things that we're going to be looking for as we're reading through the question. And when we create our thesis statement, we'll also use poetic device and meaning. Now, you got to know what a poetic device is to be able to explain it, right? So when we look at poetic devices, these are some of the most commonly used ones. So we've got rhyme, the same sound at the end of lines or internal words in a pattern way. We've got rhythm, so like the way it sounds, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Assonance, that's the vowel sound repeating. Figurative language, that's figures of speech used instead of literal descriptions. And a lot of the things that are on here are actual figurative language. So if you can't find any of these, you could look up figurative language and be able to find more possibilities of what to look for. Onomatopoeia, that's the way something sounds, or like the sound that it actually makes, or even how we kind of name that sound, even if it doesn't actually sound like that. Simile, it's comparing 2 unlike things using like or as, whereas metaphor compares those but it doesn't use like or as. Personification, we gave a non-human thing, human feelings or actions. Hyperbole, that's the exaggeration used for emphasis, like I'm so hungry I could eat a cow. I can't eat an entire cow. Alliteration, use the same consonant at the beginning of each stressed syllable in a line of verse. So, like, she sells seashells down by the seashore. Imagery, that's using the senses to describe, like we did with the 4.11 assignment. And repetition, syllables, words, phrases repeated throughout to make sure that you understand that those are important. So we go back to the actual assignment itself, and then we actually will read through it. And I want you to read through it once, just feeling what it is. And then the second time you actually go through and actually think about what's in there. So, I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the tree, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. And so you kind of look at the word choices that are given, how it sounds, to see, is this like a negative? Is this a positive? Is it giving this being lonely as a cloud, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Then you will look for the poetic devices, and the reason why this connects is because the meaning wandering lonely as a cloud, is it good or bad, will connect with whatever poetic device is being used. So we would look through here and actually look at the rhyme, the rhythm, the onomatopoeia, if it's in there, if there's similes, personification, and you're going to choose two of those and give reasonings for how that helps the poem to be either a positive or a negative about being lonely as a cloud. So whenever I look at this, I first, of course, need to come up with a thesis statement. And we said that poetic device and meaning were the two big things that we needed to cover. So I created the thesis statement. This poem uses many poetic devices to give meaning. Easy breezy, right? And then I found one quote. An example of this is continuous as the stars that shine. And then the next piece is the in-text citation, so the author's last name in parentheses, Wordsworth in parentheses. Poetic device used in this quote, this is the poetic device of a simile due to its use of as and the comparison. How does this give meaning? This shows that there are too many daffodils to count. So then you have to put in your actual own evidence, own quote, in-text citation, poetic device, the meaning of that poetic device that you found, and then restate the thesis statement. So say what I said at the very beginning in your own words at the bottom. So whenever you're trying to take this and turn it into that, though, you would actually type out just what's in the black words. So this poem causes many poetic devices to give meaning. An example of this is a continuous as the stars that shine. Wordsworth, period. This is the poetic device of a simile due to its use of so it's literally one right after the other to make your paragraph. And then you make sure to add in what you have found as far as a quote from the text, in-text citation, poetic device used, and the meaning of it with the thesis statement right after it in paragraph form. That's what I will be grading on, whether or not you use a quote from the text that is an actual device. If you use that in-text citation, so I'm going to be looking to make sure that you have it in parentheses, Wordsworth, after the quote. And then what you define that poetic device as and why it's important. And then the restatement. So that's 5 things I'm looking for. If you want to challenge yourself, you can redo the whole thing in your own words, ideas, but this is the simplest form of making sure that this assignment is done. The document that is in the online does have all of the different poetic devices in that document as well to help you out with it. So today, make sure you complete that 4.13 part 2 and turn it in, and then work on any past dues so you're not creating more overdues for yourself. And of course, open help is from 2 to 2:45. Email Mrs. Page, spage@insideaz.org. You can call or text as long as you have that permission to text thing completed. And there's my Skype, Mrs. Page ISAZ, all together. So reach out. I'm here for you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.